Welcome to Ready, Set, Rise, the ultimate podcast made for martial artists by martial artists, with your hosts, Aaron Hensley and Cameron Smith.
This is the last 3 days of the month. Your focus should be, as an owner, guys, all right? Your focus should be on middle of the month, the 15th. Whatever your financial target for the month is, that is when you hit your target. So you need to trick your brain into doing something where it's like, all right, if we have 30 days in the month and my goal is, let's say 50,000, whatever the number is, 100,000, 20,000, whatever you are in your business, on the 15th of the month, you want to sprint from the 1st to the 15th to hit that number. Because stress is what kills you. Pressure is fine. We need pressure, right? Pressure is what's going to really define your success. But stress is where we all, we panic, we freak out, we make bad decisions. And then the worst thing to do is to get now 28, 29, 30, get the last 3 days of the month and be so freaking stressed that you don't know if you're even going to make, your goal, much less exceed it. Goals are not meant to be hit. They're meant to be crushed and beat, right? I tell everybody all the time, like GPS. It tells me I'm going to be somewhere in 4 hours. I'm going to get there in 3 hours and 47 minutes. I'm going to beat about 13 minutes. And I know a lot of you guys are wired that way. So we want to finish strong and we want to start the next month like a freaking savage, right? We want to start next month going as hard and as fast, strong as possible. So the only way we're going to start the next month strong is we need momentum again. So think about this. The 1st or the 15th, sprint to hit your target. So let's just use 50. It's an easy number for us to think about right now. Okay. So from the 1st to the 15th, we sprint to that 50K mark. And on the 15th, let's say we're at 42,000, all right? Now I know, hey, my base level responsibilities of the company is taken care of. Now I've got the next half of the month. I don't coast, but I can breathe a little bit of not relief, but breathe a little bit so I can kind of re-catch my pace, okay? So I sprint. Now I'm kind of at a jog, and I'm making sure that everything T's across, I's are dotted. But when I get to the last 5 days of the month, I start getting back to a full pace. So I'm ready to sprint again on the 1st. And that's how we want to finish this month. Okay. So the last days of the month always should be really the strongest because everything that you've let linger, we've got to finish up. Okay. What most people tend to do is they tend to kind of just give up right here. You're $27,000 away from that 50. You've already given up the month, but you really kind of give up already here. Okay. So you're setting the tone. The last few days, you're setting the tone for the next month. You're not waiting till the calendar to shift. Okay. You're not waiting for that month to go from 20, 29, 31, and then we get motivated. We're starting it now. Okay. I'm telling you too many times this is what people happen. And they wake up as a 3rd of the month and then they start to get their engines going. Okay. So set the standard, guys. Targets matter, period. If you have a staff that doesn't hit a target, my policy was this. All right. So my team was highly incentivized based on revenue because that's the only thing they can control. They cannot control profit. Owners control profit because if you want to spend all your profit, that's your prerogative. You own the business. The staff can control the gross. That's all they have. They have the power to meet with the members. They have the ability to do that. So with that being said, my guys were heavily incentivized based on gross. If they made $100,000, they got a chunk of that money. Right. So like that was their bonus money. And so with that being said, if they don't hit a target, if our target is 50K and we hit 42K, right, then there's no reward. I lost money as the owner. They're losing money. And so there needs to be pain for everyone. And so the way my policy worked is on month 1, we didn't hit the target. All right. That would be a write-up. We have to document it. You just don't say, man, we suck this month, no big deal. It'd be a write-up. It's a warning. Yellow card if you think about soccer or something. If it happens 2 months in a row, okay, and you could go verbal, written if you want to go that route. But to me, verbal is we talk about this every single freaking training and meeting we do. So you could go verbal, then writing if you want to. If month 2, we don't hit that. Targets matter, guys. If we don't, month 2, it is definitely written up. And on month 3, they have lost the qualification for bonus. So like if on month 3, we did 100K, they don't get a bonus that month because how would they not get a bonus a month One, because they failed at their job. They don't get it on month two, failed at their job, but we just go and let them qualify and they go crazy on that month because I had to put money in the tank for month one to cover the loss. I had to put money in the tank. They didn't put money in the tank. But on month three, if they don't hit it, they're immediately terminated. And the reason why that policy worked is because when it turned to month three, the people who knew they weren't going to hit it or didn't care, they were already checked out, they quit. So instead of waiting until someone, I'm gonna tell you, I had to learn this the hard way. I had staff that I personally liked, emotionally attached, didn't hit it, didn't hit it, didn't hit it, didn't hit it. We have a great month. They got a bonus, holiday sale month. I had 5 months of lost money, lost money, lost money, lost money. Or maybe owners, you're not making money, which is a loss. If you're not getting paid more than your staff and you own the business, you have all the responsibilities, you have a backward system. Okay. If I pay someone 5 grand and I lost $700, I need to fire that person and do that job, or I need to run my company differently. Okay. You guys didn't take the responsibility of owning a company just to pay someone money and you have stress, right? Who signed up for that? Let me give everyone all the money. I just want all the stress. Okay. So there has to be non-negotiables, right? And if you have an owner, or excuse me, if you have a staff member who complains about targets or pressure, then they're probably either in the wrong seat or the wrong profession, right? So May, you have to treat as May has already started. May's already started, guys. Okay. Targets are not suggestions, they're commitments. They're commitments. Okay, so if you're a staff member on this call right now, this is everything I've always done, guys. 6 things you must accomplish every day that are non-negotiable. This should be personally, professionally, that are non-negotiable. Like some of you guys working out, you negotiate with yourself. I might go work out. That's why you're overweight, or that's why you can't kick anymore. That's why you got problems with your health. Okay. For Crystal, it's a non-negotiable. I don't even know how much weight she's shifted, but she's a different human being than she was when I first met her. Different in every bucket. Okay. She is a living, breathing example of the product she sells. No wonder she's successful. She is the product. Okay. She became the culture. So like she has non-negotiables when it comes to taking care of herself. She didn't have that before. It might have been an idea, but it wasn't a priority like it is. And so I'm telling you right now, guys, owners, you need your own non-negotiables and your staff needs them. Okay. And all of you guys should have consequences for missing targets. All right. If you don't have consequences, it's not a real target. So right now, if the target is $20,000 and you don't hit it and there's no consequence, then why was it even a target? Right? If you only reward people for beating a target, but there's no punishment for not hitting it, it's not a real target, guys. Right? So here's some of my non-negotiables. Here's mine. No 0 days. 7 days a week. If the cash register doesn't ring up, we're not a business, we're a nonprofit. 365 days, we should make money. Otherwise, it's a nonprofit. Okay. So you should ask yourself a question. We're closed on Fridays. We're closed on Sundays. We're closed on Tuesdays, whatever day you're closed on. Chick-fil-A's closed on Sundays. They make money 365. They've never had a down year in almost 80 years. They've made more money year after year, no matter what the 2008 crisis, COVID, whatever we're in right now, they make more money year after year after year, and they're getting bigger every year. Okay. So how do you make money on days you're not open? You have to have a great product, you have to have great marketing, and you have to have systems that are built for that. Doesn't mean you have to be physically somewhere present. Just like for example, just like social media. Like I went and vetted a lot of people's websites and social media. Most people are not using their social media properly. You're using it to market back to your students or not using it at all. And you're not speaking to your perfect customer. So like if you're not posting on a Sunday, it's because you're not automating things. You're not using technology to be able to take advantage. Okay. So these are my non-negotiables. No 0 days, no blaming, no waiting. If someone gives you a product or something to go do, and for example, let's say I see Vanessa's on the call here. If Vanessa was someone that says, "Hey, we want to join your membership and we want to do this prepay for $5,000," and I hit up my salesperson and said, "Hey," they text me. They said, "Hey, let's get this deal closed," and you go, "Well, they come in tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow." That person, if they don't take action immediately, they're waiting. Not going to work for me. Okay, because I know I have to sell to my clients, no matter who they are, based on how well they communicate with me. If someone says they're ready to do a purchase with you, you can't delay that. Because I know for a fact it happens. From a Monday to a Tuesday, people can have something happen. Doesn't mean they change their mind on the product, but they can go outside, they got a flat tire on the car, right? Something could change, or they don't come in on that Tuesday. They miss for something. Their kid ends up being sick. Now it's a week later, and they say, you know what? I'd rather just do payments now. We end up having to go spend money on a vacation we decided to do last minute because people have money that they didn't have before. They got their tax money back. They tell you they want to do something. You don't take their money. So they're like, you know what? Let's go spend this $5,000 on a vacation. It's human behavior, guys. All right. Um, Next, these are non-negotiables for me. Every call, every DM, every class has to have a sell, a story, and a future. And what I mean by that is I'm teaching a kid's class. I'm making sure I'm reselling back to my kids, not just my parents. I have to make sure that they're falling in love with the process of learning. We don't teach people how to be good learners, right? That is a sell. I also need to create a story during that class. I need to make a connection with someone, and I'm building a funnel of a story because I need proof of what we're doing is working. And then I need to sell a compelling future. So everything I do, that's kind of a framework that I'm going through. If I send someone a message, it's the same way. Okay. Those are just three basic ones. Involvement with the business. I can tell you right now, 365, I don't miss a day for working out. Non-negotiable. I'll become a different person if I don't do it. Okay. Got my butt kicked in a workout the other day, by the way. It's awesome. All right, next. You guys should be getting ready to ask questions. Quality of your questions determine the quality of results. If you just listen to me preaching to you and you take no action, this is not a good use of your time. You'd be better off reading a book or just lay out in the sun right now. Okay. Next, guys, real leaders, you don't flinch. Okay. Losing should suck. It should hurt. It should cut you deep. And so too often, people that I see in the martial arts space, they think they're leading their company, but they end up flinching too much. What I mean by that is you guys get triggered too quickly. You let some emotion dictate how you're operating your company. You put excuses for your kids, aka your staff. All right. I see this with parents a lot of times when I talk to karate kids. Yeah, well, my son had a lot of homework, or yes, every freaking person on planet Earth, everybody on this call right now, you've got some challenge with a family member. You got some challenge probably with your health. You got some challenge with something at your house, some challenge with an animal that you have as a pet. So everyone's got something in your life going on right now, and probably seven things. And then your staff member gives you an excuse, and you tolerate it, and that becomes your standard. That's not leading. Leading is a person that stands in front of someone and holds them accountable and doesn't let bullshit get in the way. Guys, if I go work out at the gym by myself and then I let David Goggins work me out, I guarantee I go harder when I'm being pushed. Okay. There's a guy named Coach Blue. Anybody know who Coach Blue is? Anybody heard of this guy? He has 8 million followers on social media. He was my running partner the other day. If you guys don't know who Coach Blue is, look him up. Okay. He was my running partner. I tell people I don't like running. I got to stop saying that. Okay. Apparently he didn't like running too much that day either. Okay. He wasn't feeling it, but this guy basically is paid to run. This is what he's known for. He's known for running. If you don't know who he is, he's a guy that runs on a treadmill with what looks like a rifle, right? He's a former military guy and does chants, whatever like that. If you're on social media ever, you probably scroll past him at some point. Okay. He was my running partner. Guess what? Anybody think I ran better? Right? Like when I wanted to quit running, because I did legs the day before, my legs are screaming. Do you guys think I quit? Hell no. Okay. I was gonna die first. And by the way, I was talking because I wanted to learn about this guy, acting like it was easy. It was not easy. Okay. It was not easy. All right. I didn't want to get out of the bed the next morning, I promise you. So like you have to understand, guys, leaders are the ones that are putting that accountability because you'll do more. Your staff will do more. And you have to be comfortable having tough conversations. It's easier to ask for money when you serve people well. The way you serve people well, guys, has got to be I'm telling you, everybody, if you teach, you're in sales, you own the business, it doesn't matter. Everybody's got to be a better leader. It's a missing component in the world right now. Discipline with consistency, pretty much undefeated in anything in life you want to do. You add high levels of leadership, people you aspire to be like, people that motivate you. That's how you need to lead your company. If you're the instructor, that's how you need to lead a class. If you're the salesperson, that's how you need to lead every single appointment. All right. And again, you've heard me say this a lot, guys. Best known doesn't beat best product. We want to be both. All right. So if you focus on the money first, you can make money. But I'm going to tell you, a lot of times you don't have a system and a process. I'm telling you, if you focus on serving the person in front of you, holding people accountable, when they don't throw a good kick and you tell them it's a good kick, you're lying to them. So be a better leader. Owners, be better to your team. The way you be better with your team is you put pressure, not stress, pressure. You hold them accountable to a target. You make sure they honor their word. And when they have negativity creep in, you don't let it linger. You stop it then. You say, hey, we don't tolerate it here. That's a non-negotiable. No negativity allowed here. Right? They say they can't do that. Oh, that's impossible. We can't do this. You immediately call it out. And if you don't hear it, but you see it, people see better than they hear. If I see a staff member negative with their energy, or they gossip, by the way, gossip is immediate termination. I'm telling you right now, guys, if you're a staff member and you talk to another staff member, but not to the person above you, that should be an immediate termination. If you work for someone who doesn't fire you for that, I'm telling you, if you own the business, guys, you better be better leaders. If you tolerate that, you're basically teaching the kids that you teach martial arts to be hypocritical as well too. Zero. That is probably the number one thing that I would fire someone over. I don't care how good you are. I love Cameron. He's been with me for most of his life. If he was gossiping to another staff member and didn't report to me first or whoever's above him at that time, I mean, I'd fire my mom over it. It is the number one thing that would kill the martial arts culture. And you better operate your whole company that way and operate your competition team that way, because cancer will kill a company, particularly a martial arts school. All right. So if you serve by being a great leader, money's easy. Guys, any martial arts school has a great culture. They could just pour money easy. A martial arts school with bad culture, you have to gimmick your way to money all the time. Okay. All right. There's a couple things you guys should be on right now for May. And then I'm gonna go through stuff you need to finish up the month with. If you have graduation and belt testing in June, you do not want to wait till June to have everything in place. So my schools, we'd have last week of June would be graduation. My current schools, we do not have testing in June. We do an inter-school tournament. My current schools only test twice a year, and they compete twice a year. So they have 2 tournaments a year and they have 2 testings a year. So in June, we have a tournament in place of a test. It's required 100% attendance. They do not promote at the next cycle if they don't compete. In my former schools, we had testing in June. On May 15th, we would start registering people for testing, and we'd cut it off on June 1st, even if the test was June 25th. Okay. The reason why is because it's a predictable system. Again, this goes back to earlier. I said, hey, targets are not suggestions, right? They're commitments. One of our non-negotiables is we don't wait. We know it's happening. We don't wait. Okay. So if you have graduation and testing in June, I would highly encourage all information is ready to go by the 15th of May. If you're doing a spring sale and didn't already do it, it's about to be summer. Okay. If you do students of the month, Thursday's May 1st, May 3rd is Saturday. I would not let someone receive that award past Saturday. Now, if you're on a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday split, you don't have anything on Friday and Saturday, then probably Monday is your last day. If you don't do it before then, it's not a system. It's a suggestion. That means you have always or nevers, and then you don't know the difference. Why would I wait and give someone a student of the month for April on May 17th? Okay, it's too late, which means these are the things you should be preparing for ASAP. May 1st, a letter should be in everyone's hands about how summer is going to operate. What are your camps? What are your themes? What are your classes? What's your schedule shift? Our schools, we shortened our evening class schedule. We added classes in the daytime. Some schools had camps, some didn't. What is your policy when they do not come in for classes? Because that's what they're going to do. Hey, we're going to be gone for summer. Can you pause our membership? We didn't have to have these conversations because we already had them on May 1st. Email, text, and a letter. If you want a copy of ours, it's on the school group. Okay. Finishing up here, going a little faster, and then I'll do Q&A here at the end. Anything positive, like student of the month, promote it on your social media, both in your private group and your public. The message is different, similar, okay? But remember, going back to storytelling as a form of marketing. You need to film that person getting it. You need to frame it up right properly and sell it to your current student body, promoting that person's achievement, but also to the public world. You need to find a way to create urgency in every action that you do. All right. I'd rather you work for 6 hours hard than to be at work for 10 hours and hate that you're there for so long. And then going back to leadership, guys, finish kind of with personal. This is all of us. Everybody's responsible for this. If you're not leading yourself, you can't lead your team. You can't lead your students. Okay. Self-care isn't soft. It's survival, right? On the plane, they tell you to put your own oxygen mask on first before you save someone else, before you help someone else. So if you're not feeding your mind, your body, and your spirit before you show up to work, and then you're supposed to be a mentor to kids that you're teaching and tell them to keep the room tidy and clean, but yours isn't. You tell them to make sure they're disciplined and practice their martial arts, but you're not practicing yours. All right. You understand it's hard to be a great leader when you're not leading yourself first. Okay. So you got to make sure you got to do that. You cannot lead a team of people. Just take care of yourself first. And then I will say this. Most important part of when it comes to our role and responsibility inside our business is we got to practice our role. We got to practice whatever it is. I'm selling. I need to work on my phone calls. I'm selling. I need to work on my closings. I'm selling. I need to know the difference between selling and closing. I'm teaching. I got to make sure I know my curriculum. Don't assume I know it. Have I learned how to teach a kick better? Are my drills fresh or are they stale? Okay. And so 25% of your retention of learning is only going to come from listening to someone like me right now. 75% of it is the retention is going to be from doing it. Role playing, live practice, feedback. So things written get retained. And so if you just listen to a lecture and don't take notes, all right? I sat in 2 days of lecturing this week. I got a whole notebook of notes. Yesterday, I rewrote my notes. Anybody ever write notes you can't even read your own damn writing? I had to go back and write my notes again. And then what I did is I layered them on what's responsible for me. And so last week I talked about eating the frog. So the first thing I do in the morning is I eat the frog, guys. I do the hardest thing for me first. No delay, no drama, just get to it. I've even adjusted today about how I'm going to even do it better. If you're not trying to improve your process every single day, you're living or dying as a human being. You're either getting better or you're not. There's no middle ground. All right. So again, I'm going to say role playing is a form of mastery, guys. 25% retention comes from just listening. All right. 75% is going to be from doing. When Jackson does a competition and his form's a minute and 27 seconds, and he can drop one time and automatically be disqualified, that a minute and 27-second routine is years and hours per day compounded of practice. 4 hours working one trick, 20 something days in a row to do one trick in part of that minute and 27-second routine. I showed a video of him competing from a couple of weeks ago to some people this weekend, and they couldn't even see some of the movements. You couldn't even see how fast these combos are moving. And then they held a combo in their hand. They're like, well, this thing's so light. How do you throw it that hard and catch it and not even look at it? Discipline with consistency over time, you become great. So again, my people teaching. When's the last time you actually role play classes instead of just teaching? When's the last time you improved your drills? When's the last time you paid attention to how many parents are on their cell phones because you're not engaging them? I don't think anybody here likes to be average. All right. Finish with this, and then bring some questions to me, guys. Words mean nothing without action. I asked last week for people to send me a 3-minute video clip of their classes. 2 people did it. And so either it's not important to you, you don't care, or you're scared. I would tell my staff what I do every day is I look for the 5% I can control. Everywhere I go, I look for the 5% I can control. I'm making an assumption that we can't even be in business if most of the stuff's not going at least good, if not great. But is there dust that I saw the day before it's still there? Is there fingerprints that I can go wipe off? Is the bathroom not smelling good? Is the floor not organized? Am I just accepting everything that I see and I don't see it anymore? So I'm challenging you guys right now. It's like if you promise a student something, if you promise yourself something, do a little check-in with yourself and seeing do your words still have meaning behind them? Or are you acting without urgency? I'm seeing some weak leadership in the martial arts community right now of a lot of people saying a lot of stuff and not doing a damn thing and bitching about a lot of other people over and over and over again. They're bitching about their staff not doing things, but then they're not doing it. They're bitching about their students, but they're not teaching it. So I'm challenging you guys like where you should already know where your weak points are. If you don't ask AI, probably knows you better than you know yourself maybe nowadays. And then I love this quote that I wrote down for myself again. No man steps in the same river twice. The river's changed and the man's changed. So just because you guys have done something before, you're a different human being, hopefully. And your environment is different, hopefully. And people change fast. The world's changing fast. So right now, some things you got, 3 days to go. If you haven't hit your target, with urgency, all hands on deck would be inside my facility, not remote. They would spend extra hours. If you're 3 days to go and you're behind on your financial target, everyone works more hours, not less hours. And I do not count working at home. If we're behind on our target, everybody would be in the store, on the phone. And if someone says no to us, we say why. And we learn and we solve and we don't take it and we stay late. They got to tell their families that we've got to put in the work because targets matter. And if you don't hit your target, there should be a consequence. Owners, if there's not a consequence, because there is one for you, you go out of business if you don't hit targets. You go out of business. And you will still be legally responsible for that lease. You will still be legally responsible. And your staff, they get another job. So you guys got to act fast, okay? So right now, that's a responsibility. How do you make extra money right now if you're behind? First, everyone who didn't close, I'm calling them back again and find out why and why not. Make sure they understood what it was they were trying to buy, because maybe we didn't do a good job explaining it. Next, anyone who didn't show up for their appointment that was supposed to, I'm hitting them up again. Next, I look at what my gap is. I'm $7,000 away. I need a product that's going to get me to that. And so I look at what I have to sell. I sell martial arts lessons, private lessons, equipment, testings, etc. I've got to bundle something together, give 2 times the value. I have to use, this is where you have to get desperate if you're that far away. You're $7,000 away, all right? Because if you think you have deals coming in, you shouldn't have waited. If I'm scheduled to come in on the 30th of the month and you think I'm going to pay you $5,000, why would I not taken it last week? Right? That's where you got to act with urgency. You do not want to go into the month sweating it, then having to sprint hard again because it's going to be hard to maintain that pace. Now, if you have summer camps, you can pre-sell some of those. That's an extra product you have. Okay. So you got a lot of stuff to really get. May 1st, summer letter information should go out. And if you're doing any kind of promotion for anything for the summer, summer's here basically, guys. Most schools are out Memorial Day weekend. You got a few weeks left. What's your t-shirt policy? What's your private lesson policy? What's your daytime schedule policy? You're behind the curve. You got to put in some extra time. You have to go savage mode right now. Okay. And then are you using social media properly? Still the two biggest platforms for our kind of product is Facebook and Instagram. Are you promoting to your prospects? Are you promoting to your students? Are you leveraging it right? Is it overwhelming? Is it too much? Who's doing it? Is the messaging right? What about your emails? How are you getting more? Like you got to go hardcore because May, I'm telling you guys, May, if you're playing behind in May, June and July are going to be hell on earth for you. A lot of you guys are traveling for June, you're going to tournaments, July, and you coast. Okay. All right. Bring me your hardest questions. Let's go. I got 28-page lease to read in front of me. I'm excited for that. Let's go, Crystal.
Okay, so not hardest question, but you only get 15 days for belt testing registration?
So the best case, me, I would open it May 1st.
Okay, that's what we do.
But listen, 15 days should be plenty enough. Here's why. Everybody's already tested multiple times before. That's been there for a year, 2 years, 3 years, whatever. They're already indoctrinated on your or scheduling. In theory, you should be able to give someone a day. Because here's the thing. For example, small plug, rise720.com on May 1st, ticket prices jump 50%. We have 300 tickets left. There's 500 tickets total for this event. And we have unreal stuff that we will not be able to put out into that event. But here's what karate school owners do. I'm going to tell you right now, they're not going to buy their tickets until 2 weeks before the event. When do people register for belt testing? The day before, the day that last cut off. So if you give them 30 days, they take 30 days. If you give them 2 weeks, they take 2 weeks. So I don't think the time window matters because they're going to take all that time window.
Okay.
But it's about educating them on process. So for me, mine would be going live May 1st. It would close May 31st. That would be me because my people
Okay.
heard about this on April 1st. There's most karate school owners are charging people's belt testing the day they show up for belt testing. That's the dumbest thing you could ever do.
Okay.
And someone should always challenge me, Aaron, why is that dumb? But no one ever does. Anyway, what other question you got for me? How much weight was it total you lost, by the way?
So far, I'm at 216. I'm like 27 pounds away from my goal.
I mean, God Lord.
Yep.
That's like two people almost. That's crazy. Man.
Yep.
You don't get tired of talking about it, right? I mean, you should inspire yourself probably by this point, right? Like you don't need anybody to inspire you. You're inspired by yourself.
I don't know, like each day, that there's hard days
Oh,
and easy days. Weekends are harder, but you just keep plugging. So I did have a question about the gossip though. I know
let's go.
you said like staff, obviously immediate, but I fired some sidekicks immediately. Like, is that what you would do, or do you give second chances? Because it's in the rules. Like, I have a rule sheet and I tell everybody, and then if I catch them doing it, I'm like, nope, can't have it.
Well,
And I just let them go. I just don't have time for it. But I don't know, like, do you typically give them a little bit more of a second chance, or?
so I love this. If you have a policy in your for the staff, zero tolerance policy, and then you have that same policy because sidekicks are somewhat an extension of your team. That's why choosing the right people matter and bringing them on matters because here's the thing is it festers so quick. And so for me, I did this wrong for too long. I would let things fester with team. And then later on, I got it better with the staff. The next phase was competition team and sidekicks. Those were the cliques. And it would kill, like literally, I'm saying it killed the culture of the school, killed it. And I just didn't want to deal with it. And so I just let it linger. And guess what happens when you let things linger? They just get worse.
Yeah.
I was not the strong leader I thought I was. So I have a zero tolerance policy of that for a competition team. Now, I can tell the difference like at a competition event where someone's pissed off because something went wrong and they're angry as opposed to gossip. Now, what I mean by gossip is student that's representing your brand outside of the school, parent, student, doesn't matter. Instead of coming to their teacher, they take the problem here. That's gossip. If they bring the problem up, that's not gossip. And so this is something that I would highly encourage that you educate people on. And I even would teach this to the kids about because this is something that this is why we think we have such a bad employee marketplace in America is because people aren't teaching people how to be good teams. So like if I got a problem, I'm the instructor, I go to my manager. I don't go to the person that's equal to me or below me. And so like, because what happens is that culture, it is probably the number one thing that will destroy a martial arts school fastest. That or something illegal, obviously unethical. But to me, this is just, I put that in that basket. Yeah.
My policy it finding it easier to implement has always just been bent up.
Yeah.
And so we talk about that with the comp team, but recently we had a problem kind of with lifetime members.
Yeah.
And so
You should
they
have
also are,
you should have that policy as well with them.
yeah,
And so like the one thing is on a lifetime membership, it has an expiration date. They have to opt back in and renew it. So it's not lifetime on right forever. If they don't train, they lose that access. And there are policies in there for behavior, right? And because you don't want someone in there that's damaging your business. So absolutely, you have to have these.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, that literally was their response is, what are you going to do? Fire me? I'm like,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah. You also should intentionally fire students. I think it was like the Leaco goes like 10%. You should intentionally fire students. We're in the process of firing 2 students right now, right? They're not coming. They are paying. I don't want to take someone's money if they're not coming. They're either going to be there and be participating because it hurts. Taking someone's money for they're not providing a product after a period of time, like it's not this is a choice that you have to make from ownership. It's not the ethical thing that I want to do. And 2, it doesn't actually serve the purpose of what the business is there for. All right. So, and then sometimes you fire students who are just not really good fits for you, right? Their parents are not really committed. The kid's not winning because they're coming inconsistently. So sometimes you're cutting out the fluff to make sure that your culture is everything in a martial arts school, guys. I can't say that enough. You can see it and sense it immediately. All right, last question. Let's roll. What's up, Daryl? How you doing?
Aaron,
Let's
yeah,
go,
how you
sir.
doing? You mentioned about awareness of parents for classroom instructions. Mentioned about awareness of parents on cell phones because they're not engaged. Could you explain that a little more?
If I see someone like this while I'm teaching, I suck as a teacher. You go to church, Daryl?
Yes.
Would you sit in the front pew and be on your phone while the preacher's talking?
No.
And the reason why would you not do it?
It's disrespectful,
Okay, it's
and
disrespectful. What's the next reason?
I'm clearly not paying attention.
Right, exactly, right? Like, why are you even there?
Yeah.
A great martial arts teacher isn't teaching kids. He's teaching the whole damn room. If my parents are disengaged, I'll become a babysitter. Did you sign up to be a babysitter, sir? I think you got your own kids you can go to, take care of. The
All right.
reason why people hate teaching martial arts to kids after a while is because the teacher is disengaged because he or she is becoming stale. They stop learning. And when you stop learning, you should put a sign on your door saying, "Hey, students, I'm a hypocrite. I'm no longer learning. Probably should not take classes from me." That's why I'm a fat karate teacher. And fat doesn't mean physically fat. It means that you just gave up. A great martial arts teacher is like a great pastor. You ain't gonna be on your phone because you're like, oh, what is he saying? Listen, when David Goggins came out the other day, he comes on stage. People were standing up listening to him. They didn't want to sit down. Okay. Like there's a certain, energy that man possesses. Okay. By the way, we were in a church. First thing he did is he says, "I know I'm looking at a cross right now." He says, "But God knows who he fucking made when he made me." Because he has to cuss when he's teaching. He probably said about 50 F-bombs in the first 2 minutes. Okay. But there's a certain level of respect. If someone's teaching class, the parents should have respect for the person teaching. And if not, that person teaching isn't courageous enough or confident enough in their ability. Now, you might not be there yet, but it's something I'll be aware of. As the owner, and you're teaching for me, Daryl, I look at a camera and I could look at my audience, not even look at your class, and I could tell how good they respect you and like what you do. Right? It's an easy measurement. And so I look at things like church. Karate's like church in a lot of ways. It's such a relationship business. It's self-improvement, self-enlightenment. You're getting your mind, body, and spirit connected together. And so if the parents are not really engaged, then there's an issue there's a disconnect on what's going on. How are they going to continue the education at home? There's not alignment. And so anytime I see that, by the way, I'm not a perfect human being at this. Sometimes I suck teaching. I suck. I have bad classes, man. There's some days I'm like, God dang it, Aaron, you're just flat out, you suck. Okay. But I got to self-correct. So if I have one class that sucks, I don't feel good that day. I look at the parents, I'm checked out. I'm just going through the motions. Everyone's gonna have these days. I don't wait till the next week to fix it. I fix it in the next class. I go, holy crap, those parents don't even pay attention to me. I need more pressure. You should sit in the front row everywhere you go because you want pressure put on you because you know when you remove pressure from you, the worst version of Daryl comes out. So teachers, stand right next to your parents when you're teaching. Put the pressure on you so when you're teaching to your parents, there's pressure put on you. If I'm like, oh, I'm scared, I'm gonna get in the back, I want to go last. I sit in the back of the room, somebody sees me. People say, well, at least I'm in the room. Yeah, you're in the room, but you're not actually, pressure changes the game. Pressure's a privilege.
Thanks.
Game on the line. Someone passes you the ball, 4 seconds left. Game 7, NBA Finals. Do you take the shot or do you pass? I'm taking the goddamn
Take
shot.
the shot.
I'm taking the shot because I want the pressure. I want people to hate me because I missed or love me because I made it. I asked the guys the other day. It's Game 7 World Series. Two guys asked them, okay, Game 7 World Series. You're the pitcher. Bottom of the ninth, 2 outs. Bases loaded. Scores 3-2. The count's 3-2. Do you want to be that pitcher to shut the game down right now? Or do you want to be that guy swinging that bat, hitting that home run? Either way, you win a World Series. Either way, you're a hero. You know both people, you know what they picked, you know both people picked.
Oh,
They want to be the hitter. They want to be the hero. A lot of upside, right? So just understand it's like people want to be the hero, but also there's more pressure when you're already leading and there's only nothing but downside for you. So a lot of times people don't understand it's like pressure is one of those things everyone thinks about the hero status. We forget that on the opposite side of that, you're put yourself in a pressure position. It's only a real pressure moment if there's a downside. When you're already losing, if you don't hit that home run or if you don't hit that batter in, you didn't really lose the game because you're already losing. The whole team was losing. You only really have nothing but upside. You're winning 3-2, bases are loaded. You only need one more strike. The game's in hand. There's nothing but downside for you. That's pressure. And most people don't want pressure. They just think they want to be a hero. Okay. All right, guys. Hey, 3 days to go. Last of the month. Go kick ass. Get into May really strong. Mother's Day's coming up. Don't wait. All right. And Star Wars Day's coming up too. See you guys tomorrow. Hasta mañana. What up, Cam?